These models it's popping, I tip her. I skip her, I give her the. Girl, you on my line right now. Yeah, I can see the signs right now. Feeling like a boss right now. Feeling like a boss.
First opened way back in 1924, but renovated in 2002. There's a look inside venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. Coming up, it's a battle to represent the NFC in this year's Super Bowl, and we've got a classic in store between the New York Giants and the Chicago Bears. One of these teams will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks' time. Which will it be as we're underway in the NFC title game? Jakeem Grant now to return. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. On the ground, this is Saquon Barkley. And I think he's going to go. They're not going to get him. Touchdown, Giants. Saquon Barkley, 69 yards. And the Giants are going to take a first-quarter lead. So, wow. I mean, that'll quiet this crowd, right? A big one there on the opening drive of the game.
Yeah, you have to be thinking, we're at home for the playoffs. That had to be a splash of cold water right in their face, don't you think?
Yeah, they got to be thinking, we're going to have to work on this and do so in a hurry. Extra point right down the middle. And it's now a 7-0 game. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback.
Go, 14. Got it. Gotta go.
Here's carry number 1 for Jordan Howard. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. In on the stop, it was the UCF product, Shaquem Griffin. On second down, here's Wilson.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play. But that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. Now it's Wilson. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything to warrant a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. And here comes the Giants offense back out onto the field. And they hit the home run last drive. One play on the ground all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description because when we talk about hitting the home run, we're usually thinking about a passing play, aren't we? Something in the air, deep ball. But how about them just taking it big-time jaunt? Now if you're coming back out, now they've established this run game, the play-action pass could very well be open.
Trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. It was the linebacker Leonard Floyd on the stop.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
On 2nd down, here's Barkley. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll bring up what looks to be a 3rd and inches. Can't be more than a half a foot.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
It's a keeper with Prescott. And they will touch him down, but not before he gets the first. Only a yard there on the keeper, but that's all he needed. 1st down.
There may have been a little bit of an element of surprise there. 3rd and inches, and they go quarterback sneak. I still feel like this is a play that often is reserved for 4th down.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. And he'll go out of bounds. It appears right at the 45. Just what you want on a 1st down run. Call it 8 yards. And it's 2nd and 2. Here's a give to Barkley. And no room that time, getting it to about the 46. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be 3rd down.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading the play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
They'll try to run for it with Barkley. And a minimal gain here as he's up to about the 47-yard line. Only a yard on the... Pick up there, and it's going to leave them with a 4th down. So in their own territory, but they only need a few inches, so they're going to opt to go for this thing. We'll see. Maybe a surprise pass or run. What will they do? We're about to find out. 4th down. And he'll be touched down here, but not before he does pick up the first. They only needed a few inches, but still some anxious moments there, but they do convert on fourth. A first down carry for Barkley. And he's got it across midfield and into Bear territory. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Not much happening there on first down.
I thought there might have been a hole for a split second.
Yeah, but it dried up pretty quickly, didn't it? Closed fast.
A handoff to Barkley. Fighting through. And he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going and are controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. But also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
Now Saquon Barkley, and he only manages a couple here down to about the 38-yard line.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
They'll try to throw now. Prescott. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. He lost 2 there, and it's third down. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
The last catch took him 2 yards in the wrong direction, so now what can they do on third? Out of the gun, here's Prescott. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces fourth down. On line, but off the crossbar, no good. A long-range effort denied 3 points at the very end. All things considered, a pretty good kick. Just cruel punishment there to be denied by the crossbar.
If you're going to hit from that distance, sometimes you're going to need a little luck. And unfortunately for him, this time the break goes against him.
Good jumbo! Good jumbo! Good jumbo! Gotta go.
On first down, Wilson. Eluding the pressure right. And incomplete.
I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. No one got it. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And they see right through that defensively as he'll be hit and taken down to the backfield. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Run left.
On 3rd down, Wilson. Flushed out right. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A good pickup there of 20 yards. He missed on his first 3 passes, was 0 for 3. Now gets a connection. Maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, it wasn't a time for panic, but there was some concern because once you start in a certain pattern, you're wondering, can you get out of it? And that flips the other way, too, when you're throwing it really well. In this case, now he's got his first completion. They think he might be off to the races.
Throw right side is going to be caught by Samuel. And he'll go down at the 28. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards.
One left, one left. There. Zebra. Got it. Hey. 12.
Out of the gun, here's Wilson. And he is going to go down. They sack him on the final play. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis back with you as it's Bears football here to begin quarter number 2. They do, however, have a tough 3rd and long coming up.
Let's get it.
Off the play fake, here's Wilson. And this is going to be incomplete. Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
Here comes the Bears punter now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. 46 on his first kick, this one in that neighborhood as well. The Giants offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. Last time out, they had that long 50-plus yard field goal that they missed.
And I'm sure on their sideline, they're thinking to themselves, okay, do we still want to try one if we're in that position again? And I would dare say that the answer would be yes. They're going to have a lot of confidence in their kicker. But just to be on the safe side, I'm sure they told their offensive guys, can we get a little bit closer this time?
Closer.
Yeah, well, I'd rather get in the end zone first and foremost. If all else fails, less of a field goal attempt for him.
And he'll get him a little space here up to the 5-yard line. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down. It's Barkley on the counter. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 20. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs.
This guy's well on his way now to a big game on the ground. It's another good run there. Puts him over the century mark in yardage, and we're still in the 2nd quarter.
So a solid run by Saquon Barkley, and another 1st and 10 here. They'll run with Barkley. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22.
Well, he was looking for some running room, and there wasn't a whole lot of it there on that play. I think he was lucky to get a couple yards out of it because those defenders, they were rallying to the football pretty quickly.
From the 22, here's 2nd and 8. A 2nd down throw for Prescott. Got an open man. It's Scott. A really good pick. Pickup of 28 yards. So into Bear territory now. This is 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Prescott to throw it. And he rifles one incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. Those passes out that far wide always make you hold your breath a little bit. Felt like it was in the air for a while.
What it does is it allows a defender to gain some ground, come from a long distance, and have a chance to affect the pass.
This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Prescott yet again. And he will find Scott on the right outside complete. Now this is good for a first down. His second grab of this NFC Championship bout. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. On the run, it's Barkley. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 14. Barkley. In on the stop, the former Georgia Bulldog, Roquan Smith.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
Under 4 to play now. Clock running. 3rd down. Prescott from the gun. And Ingram holds it in. So even with the pass interference, it's a completed pass. They'll go ahead and just take the play instead.
How about the effort? Making the catch despite the pass interference. Nothing else to be gained on the play. No need to take the penalty. The play stands.
First trip to the red zone for the Giants. It's 1st and 10 at the 14. From the red zone now, Prescott. Oh, and it's incomplete. That would have been big in the end zone if he could have held on. Instead, it's 2nd down.
A missed opportunity for an interception would have killed off a drive. They had a chance there to finish things off. Didn't get it done. I guess that's why a lot of those guys do not play offense.
Throwing again. Prescott on 2nd and 10. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
On 3rd down, Barkley. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
So another 3rd down conversion, and now they've got a 1st and goal. And they'll turn to the power game to try to get in. And he is in. Touchdown, New York. It's the fullback taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Giants are able to grow their lead. Extra point splits the uprights, and that'll make the score 14-0. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This fielded at the 2. They'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet. and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. And he takes it all the way down to the 28-yard line. A big play there on the catch and run. 47 yards.
Shotgun. 19.
On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. Curtis Samuel, the intended target. That'll bring up 2nd down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. They go play action with Wilson. That's Samuel, caught left side. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. We'll be back with more in the NFC title bout after this. The Bears on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd down and 12. Again, Wilson. That's complete to the Memphis man, Anthony Miller. And he's able to get it to the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line. They'll get 11, but still a little short. 4th down. And now the passing game here in the second quarter starting to heat up a little bit.
Don't you feel the rhythm starting to happen, right? You see it. Now the confidence is starting to rise. I think now as a play caller, because that has happened, you lean on it a little bit more. You don't go totally away from running the football, but you do say, guess what? We can throw it. We can throw it well with a whole lot of confidence.
Now it's Wilson. This will be caught just inside the 10. And he's brought down. That one goes for 16 yards. It sets him up 1st and goal. The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the 1st down. This is 1st and goal and a golden chance to get a score back here before halftime. On 1st and goal, Howard. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Bears. Jordan Howard taking it in. And the Bears have cut it to within a score. And they're able to run it in. It started with a battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how are we going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Giant offense now making their way back out onto the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you score points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
On the crossing route, complete. That's Scott. A very solid gain of 27.
Brandon, so many times we see the crossing route start as a quick hitter, but in this play, he had time in the pocket and waited for him to clear going across.
Prescott now 5 out of 10, 50% throwing it. Not so hot, but he does have a 1st down. Looking to throw. Prescott. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line.
Well, it's a cold night, and whether you're a quarterback that wears a glove on his throwing hand or not, That ball is a rock, Brandon. You've got to really drive it through the cold and the wind, or it can take off on you. And that may have been what happened there.
The Bears in good field position to start out 1st and 10. They go with Howard to begin the drive. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. This is Howard on second down. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. Only a gain of a yard there, but it indeed gets him a new set of downs.
2nd and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on 3rd down and pick up the 1st down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the 1st down. That's exactly what they did.
Sutton reeling it in on the left side. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
19.
Throwing now, Wilson on 1st down. Wilson hit, it's loose, it's out, fumble. And who's got it? The Giants! And in this very cold night air, how much harder, Charles, is it to hang on to that football?
It's a lot harder, and I know for the most part we think about a ball being slick when there's rain or snow, any type of moisture. But when it's cold and dry like this,
and it is cold,
and it is cold, it's also slick that way because you're not able to really grip it the same way. Your hands are cold, and then the hits seem harder. So, yeah, it's a lot more difficult to hold on to the football, which means you have to emphasize it that much more.
Wind chills right now, 12 degrees. Prescott now after the fumble recovery. That'll be incomplete as the clock will stop with 14 seconds remaining. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down.
Here we go, 46.
Here's Prescott. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. The Giants on 3rd down. They've converted 4 times out of 6. Not bad. This is 3rd and 10. Here's Prescott. Over the middle, he's got his tight end Ingram. Now a timeout called with 3 seconds to go. And, of course, they're in field goal range in the final seconds of this first half. So 3 seconds here remain in the half. On is the field goal unit to see about getting 3 points. And now we'll get a late timeout as it comes in the waning moments of quarter number 2. And his kick is good. Didn't hit it all. Yeah, who has time for a halftime show with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line? Let's get back to it. So we've reached halftime. Who will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? 2 more quarters to go. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. So here's the Bears offense now as they get set to start this third quarter. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards. One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10.
We got 36 power. 18. Hey!
And he stopped immediately there. No gain there as he kept it himself at 2nd down. Now Wilson on 2nd down. He's going to float this over the middle deep. Incomplete, almost intercepted. They haven't picked him off yet. Would have been a great time for the first, but instead it's 3rd down. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
12.
And the blitz does come. He's going to let this one go deep. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Humphrey. And his guys are going to get the football at the 23-yard line. First possession of the third quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
Brandon, it looked like he had his hands on it for a moment, but let's face it, that was going to be a tough catch all the way because of the presence of the defense right there as he was trying to haul it in.
Yeah, nice job to force the incompletion. Off the play fake, Prescott. They've got his man, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That goes for a gain of 31. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Prescott on 1st down. He dumps it off to Barkley. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. It'll be a gain of 9, and it'll be 2nd and about a yard.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he gets it down to the 32. It's a gain of 4 there, and it gives him a new set of downs.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Back to the ground, this time Cook. Finding room to the 20. 23 yards on the pickup there and a first.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. They'll try and run for it with Barkley. It'll be a pickup of 4, and it brings up 2nd and goal.
Well, the spotlight hit him once already tonight as he got into the end zone. He was trying to make it a double spotlight, wasn't he?
But credit the defense, bottling him up, not letting him get in for the second score there. So 2nd and goal, and standing by himself in the backfield, Barkley. He'll get it up the middle. And he gets it a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4.
His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
They missed a field goal on their last drive. Here they need something to even get into field goal range on 3rd down. Here's Barkley. And he is in. Touchdown, Giants. Saquon Barkley, his 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Giants add on to their lead. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Bears offense ready to take over again. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right, guys, we're going to lean on you through this patch. We need you to get us back on track and get us going in the right direction. So you're calling plays geared to them. Not necessarily that you look at your plays, oh, this hurts the defense. I want the ball in the hands of X, Y, and Z and see if we can move forward.
So don't get too cute. Go to the playmakers. Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete.
You know they wanted, you know they expected. They needed him to be sharp coming out after the half. Unfortunately, he's missed his first 3 throws. I wonder if he got out late and missed his warm-up time.
The whole team did come out a little bit later than usual. I don't know, maybe there's something to that.
Must have been a heck of a halftime speech.
Yeah, maybe just trying to rally the troops back from this deficit. Again on 2nd and 10, it's Wilson. Oh, nearly picked. And maybe lucky there. This guy doesn't drop many defensively. 3rd down.
Well, this at least is the right idea. I think they've got to get the tight end more involved.
He had just 1 target in the first half, incomplete. Now incomplete here with the first target of the second half.
Yeah, should not stop them at all from going back to him, though. Find him. Find him.
On 3rd down, Wilson. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 33. And his guys will take over at the 30-yard line.
All right, work with me, partner. This is a classic understatement. Their execution has been very poor. Last 3 drives, 2 interceptions and a fumble. Winning football? We're not seeing it right now.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Following the interception, here's Prescott. Escaping the pressure right. And he will avoid the contact as he slides to a stop. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
I think the last 2 plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy, because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those 2 that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you. Now a 2nd down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete.
I'm laughing to myself because I could just hear in film session. But, Coach, I was throwing to Odell Beckham Jr. Of course I thought he was open.
They'd love to go deep downfield to him, though. Such a threat.
Yeah, a rare incompletion because most of the time we expect him to actually come up with the catch.
The Giants on third down. They've hit on 6 of their 8 tries. Very good. They're up against a 3rd-and-1 situation. Out of the gun. Here's Prescott. And that is incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on 3rd down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a 4th down decision.
And his kick is right there. It's good, and that will push this lead up to 20 now. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you've got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinators? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. A huge play there for Chicago. And even 40 yards. On 1st down, Wilson. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. 6 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it a 2nd down.
Well, it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneak.
Pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down. Zach Brown leading the surge there. He drops him for a loss of 6. So now 3rd and 10, a big play to start the drive, but nothing since. From the gun, it's Wilson. Going right, and that's complete. And he gets it down to the 32. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Now it's Wilson. And he's got Miller. And they'll get this one down to about the 20-yard line. A gutsy call. Turns out to be a good one, though. 1st down on a pickup of 11. To throw is Wilson. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
Tempo.
Wilson now to throw on 3rd down. And Wilson's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off inside the 5. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
You hear me laughing, partner, and I'm not laughing at the situation, but sometimes you just get yourself into a rut. It's hard to shake yourself out of it.
They'll start out on the ground. It's Saquon Barkley. And he'll take this up to about the 7 or 8 yard line. Adrian Amos up to make the tackle.
And that's frustrating for a defense because they've got them pinned down deep. And on the first play, they gave up a run that keeps an offense on schedule.
Yeah, because 3 to 4 yards, that's all you're looking for right there, right?
That's absolutely perfect, really, as a play call. You get 3 to 4 yards on first down. That's what they talk about us all the time, about being ahead of the chains or on target, ahead of schedule. They were after that run.
Let's go. Let's finish now. Here you go.
They'll run it again with Barkley. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And all of a sudden here, it's 3rd down. And he's going to be taken down shy of the 10, right around the 9 yard line. Give him 3 yards there as that'll take us to 4th down. Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez, as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. And 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4 is kind of, oh, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, and what's interesting is, what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. To the right side, complete to Miller. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. 10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down.
Let's go, 14.
They'll throw on first down with Wilson. Going to throw right side here, complete. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the first down completion. And, boy, they had high praise for this rookie receiver when we asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Play action. Now Wilson. He's going to air one out. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And he is in. Touchdown, Chicago. In for the score. And the Bears cut into that lead. Extra point put through by Boswell. And that cuts this lead down to 13. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And the Giants ready to come out now. Now, the previous drive they punted, but that was just the first time they've had to do so in this game.
And when they turn on the game film, the coaches will rant about this, right? They'll say, oh, God, we got to move the ball, guys. We can't punt the ball away. But they have to keep smiles off their faces because that's the first time in the game they've had to do so. They've moved it quite well.
Oh, Prescott stripped. But I think the Bears have recovered. They have.
Partner, that one looked like it was over. I mean, they had control, had the football, and the defense had to make a play in order to keep them in the game. That's exactly what they did.
And now that door ajar, 2-score game, so hold on here, not done in the 4th.
Check 26. Shotgun.
first down, they run with Howard. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. And this defense continues to give them fits. They just can't get really anything going on the ground, can they?
I love the theme that you just brought up. This defense has been tough all game long against the run. We just saw another example of it there.
Come on, let's go.
On second down, here's Wilson. On the right side, this is Miller. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's third down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
2 of their 3 red zone trips so far, they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on second and goal. Trying to punch it in with Howard. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago. Jordan Howard with his second touchdown of the night. And the Bears use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. So here comes the kickoff, and what now is just a one-score, 6-point game. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Giants offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. Now, Charles, of course, you got to remember, last possession they fumbled. It led to a touchdown. One-score game here. Got to be careful.
And this is where coaching and training really comes into play, doesn't it? What does everyone say after an error? Next play, move on, next drive. That mantra has to come to the front. They got to take care of business right here and act like the last series just didn't happen.
And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, second down.
There's definitely contact there, but it's the fourth quarter of a kind of tight game, and sometimes the officials just say, let them play. Kind of like your mom used to with you and your brothers. Just take the broom to you and send you out to the backyard and tell you to settle it yourselves.
I like that, yeah. There was contact. I don't know, like you said, enough to warrant the flag. It was close, though. They'll run it now out of the gun. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down. The Giants on third down. They're hitting at 60%, 6 out of 10 thus far. This is 3rd and 11. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And oh, look at that, a diving catch. A pickup of 24 on the third down conversion.
And the key number on that play, 3. Third play of the drive, third down, spectacular catch, turns into a first down.
First down saves them from a 3 and out. Clock running, under 4 to play now as they come up on 1st and 10.
46.
Prescott from the gun. A hit as he throws there, incomplete. He was looking for Odell Beckham that time, and that'll bring up second down.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Now it's Barkley. He takes to midfield, but no further. Just a yard there. And in this situation with the lead, 4th quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take. Puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
go 46, 46.
Prescott now from the 50. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked up by Jalen Ramsey. And he'll get this one out to the 50 to the midfield stripe. A critical error there in a tight game of the fourth.
All you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the fourth quarter, turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
Just in general, when you're passing in the fourth quarter with a lead, no matter at what point, you got to be super careful.
Got to be careful, and sometimes you can be so careful that you end up running yourself into an error.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
They go with Howard again. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
From midfield now, here's Wilson. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And who's got it? The Giants. In a defensive mind. Coach loves to turn up the heat, turns it up there, it pays off.
And back in the good old days, those defensive-minded coaches just talked about intimidating teams, using force, right, beating them to the punch. In this case, they're talking about creating turnovers. That's all they preach, all game long, all practice long, every meeting. Get the football. That's what they want.
Prescott now after the fumble recovery. Open man right side is Ingram. A good pick up there of 20 yards. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Time for a break. Back with more in the NFC Championship game after this. We're not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. This is Barkley. And he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. They'll go to Barkley again. And for one of the first times tonight, he's going to be held up at the line of scrimmage. And now the Bears going to signal for another timeout as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. And they'll go with the ground attack here. And this play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back to the 15. And now we're going to get a timeout here called by the defense, as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. And this one is right through. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So barring something extraordinary here in the closing stages, that field goal should just about put this one on ice.
Yeah, we've got to find 2 scores. So, we're not going to exactly move it over there yet. It can be done, but, boy, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for them, isn't it?
Yeah, they would have to move incredibly quick and have some luck, too. And they're going to have really good starting field position here as that's taken up close to the 40. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. They might be thinking this is close to a lost cause here. Got to play it out. What do they need to do?
Well, they have a thought process in mind already, but they can't get ahead of themselves. They know that they need to score quickly.
Yep, 2-score game.
Onside kick and get the ball back and then score again. But they can't worry about the last 2 points. The only thing that matters is scoring quickly. Then they'll take it from there.
Wilson. That's Samuel. Caught left side. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. Throwing now is Wilson. He's going to let it fly. That's caught inside the 20. And that one results in 35 yards. Well, even after all those interceptions, he's not deterred, still confident to go deep at work there.
I think all the old rules about playing that position still apply. If things go wrong, you still act like you're the best player out on the field. You still carry that supreme arrogance with you and continue to fire the ball. I've seen guys have games like this, and this is where you find out if you're great or not. Can you overcome some interceptions and still lead your team to victory?
And Boswell's kick is good. And that'll move them back within 6 now. So the field goal means we're back to a 1-score game, but with no timeouts left, I think this has to be an onside kick.
I like your analysis there, partner. I think you're right. You need the ball back. That's probably your only avenue.
And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. They had to go for it with no timeouts remaining, though now. This one's as good as over.
They gave it an effort. They tried their best, did everything they could to try and get the ball on the onside kick. You're exactly right. They had to try it. It was their only option. And now this game is done. Just take it, kneel, and call it a day.
They will take a knee here and cue the celebrations. They are off to the Super Bowl. And as they take that knee, you can hear a pin drop in this stadium right now, partner.
I'd say you could hear a pin drop except for one thing. You're hearing a lot of people on cell phones right now calling and saying, cancel my reservation, because this crowd thought they were going to the Super Bowl. They had trips planned, hotels, reservations, the whole deal. That's all wiped out now.
This was the goal before they started the season, to play in a Super Bowl, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
And this is why songs are written about teams. Okay, you go back, some teams wrote them earlier in the season about their goal of getting to the Super Bowl. This one, they're going to be able to break it out now because their goal was to get there, and they achieved it. How about that? That's pretty fantastic.
And that does it for the conference championship. For Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And for our entire crew, we'll see you 2 weeks at the Super Bowl. This is the NFL on EA Sports.